Hey, it's Wally, and I just want to thank so many people, our potties, the people that listen to the radio station, for partnering together to make a difference in the lives of Ukrainian refugees. This thing over there is a mess. We're entering the 5th month of this, and it's just heartbreaking to see what people are going through and how they're having to live. But here's the upside. Together, we have sent more than 100,000 meals to Ukraine already. These meals are being distributed by 3,500 pastors who are risking their lives every day to minister to these families and get them the food that they need. So if you've given, thank you so much. Now, we're down to the last couple weeks of the month, and how cool would it be to up the ante here and send another 50,000 meals by the end of July? I know it sounds like a lot, but at 25 cents a meal, that's not a lot, and a little bit from each of us can go a long way. I know I've already done my part because I'm never going to ask you to do something I won't do, but think about it. $100 sends 400 meals, and then if you roll that out and do $500 or $1,000 gift, imagine the impact that you're having. So if you want to get involved, you've seen all the hardship and the heartache and thought, man, I wish there was something I could do. This is something you can do. Just join us by texting Wally to 91999. That's Wally to 91999. And the cool part of this is, man, you get to be the answer to a mom's prayer as she's wondering how she's going to feed her children. Again, text the word Wally to 91999. Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. You know the deal, all those things we did not get to during the course of the show today. We kind of like to catch up on Mondays as well, because on Fridays we do weekend plans, and then kind of catch up. Did you actually do the things that you said you were going to do, or were you a Friday liar?
The problem is I don't remember what I said I was going to do on the weekend. I will say that I pretty much did nothing except the nursery on Sunday.
Oh, you did follow through with that.
We had 17 kids.
No.
Oh my gosh. How many adults were there to counter?
Well, we didn't know we were going to have that many, and the girl that was in charge didn't have that. She had me, her, and another worker.
Ooh, so 3 for 17. So you're each watching over 5 kids.
Yeah.
Right. So she had to call in 2 more people, 2 volunteers from
good.
the service. Can you just come in here now?
Oh, man.
But usually we don't have that many. Usually we have 10 maybe.
I will say it is pretty interesting at church what we do. Because we will go to great lengths when we're looking for childcare for our kids. Okay, I want this place to be the best place in the world that's going to stimulate them and challenge them and not be too difficult, but kind people. But and you take meetings with different places and you get a vibe for it. And then Sunday rolls around and we go to church and we're like, here, Betty, you watch the youngin. Just anybody, any warm body.
It doesn't matter.
That's going to put themselves into nursery. We're like, take the kid, please. I remember dropping my daughter off one time, and she hated to go when she was little, and she would cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. And so one time I hand her off to the lady through one of those half doors, the bottom half.
Oh, yeah.
So I hand her over the door to the lady. She's crying and crying, making herself sick, and she throws up all over the lady. And then I'm at that moment where I'm like, do I take her back?
Just keep walking.
Or oh boy, that sucks to be you.
It's you volunteered for that.
And I'm like, what's that, honey? My wife's calling. I gotta go.
No, you did not.
I did. I left.
That's funny. I feel like I would have just ducked and rolled if I saw that happen. Just go, didn't run away.
It is funny to see how a kid's temperament or their personality is already forming as young as that.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are some kids that, this one little girl, I forget her name, but you cannot make eye contact with her because once you do,
really?
she realizes that you're not her mom and she remembers where she is and she'll start crying all over again.
Really?
There's one little girl that was back there that she would not let go of her mom. So I had to kindly, forcibly pick her up.
Pull her by the pigtails.
Yeah. So her mom could leave and go to the service. And she just cried. But then she calmed down. But then it was like she got attached to me. So if I let go of her hand, now she was just starting panic mode all over again. But then there's some kids that the parents will drop them off and they just come running in. They're just like, I don't care. Who are you?
Those are the
I
good
don't know.
kids.
Yeah.
This is my name. My mom says that when I was young, she was sad when I wouldn't miss her because she just dropped me off and I'd just run out. I was ready to go.
Right.
But then there are those kids that are just they
But in
cry
fairness,
and cry.
though, your church was probably really cool because they let goats watch you guys.
Right. I was always looking forward to that. If you got a pet tick, you're good to go.
This granny goat is going to be watching you kids today.
Woohoo! She's
Don't
my
ride
favorite.
her. Do not ride her. I'm Betty
Too
Lou.
late.
Get off of that goat. You know.
Where'd your shoes go? Those are your good Sunday shoes.
Yeah, I used to be way more involved in my churches in the past, and maybe I need to do that again. I'm not sure. Like I love my church. I think my church is a great church. But I'm not super plugged in. My last church for 9 years, I was really plugged in. The one before that, like I did like what Gavin does. I taught youth group and stuff. And I just haven't really plugged in here. I'm trying to think, what would I like to do?
Because there's like greeting team, there's security team.
That's the one I want. That's the one I want badly.
That's the one that you would be proud of yourself for and probably never do a single thing.
Oh no, but I would know I was strapped and like would enjoy that.
See, that's the problem.
Yes.
That's where I would say I'm leaving this church and going somewhere.
I need to ask Pastor Eric about that. Hey, what do you got to do? Like, you know.
No.
Yeah.
If anything, you could be like
maybe.
No, listen.
I could combine jobs. What?
You could direct traffic.
Well, that was my point.
But you don't need a lethal weapon.
I could combine
for that.
jobs, and I could be the traffic and security guy. And then when someone's going the wrong way, I pop off a couple shots.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
If anything, maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, but hear me through.
Okay.
Maybe you could be a helper to the first responder, like an emergency situation.
Yeah.
But let them handle it because they've got the bag for first aid.
I like it.
You don't have anything.
Right.
You're not prepared at all. But you could be the one that they're like, hey, can you call 911?
Scissors. Yeah, call 911. Or scissors, and I hand them to them. Like scalpel, I hand it to them. Ballpoint pen for a tracheotomy. One step ahead of you. Put me in, coach.
Enough to say that you were there.
Yeah.
But you're not responsible if anything goes wrong.
Like on that airplane when I held the oxygen bottle for that lady. Like I was there. I was a first responder, amateur first responder. Wally. There's a TV show on this. Wally, amateur first responder. So I have thought about the parking thing, but boy, in the summer it's bad, and when it rains, I feel bad for them. But then I used to be an usher, which I hated.
Really? All you do is just up and down the aisle.
Yeah.
You kind of have to make eye contact and see if people have money, which is awkward.
Well, I hated that because then you're trying to decide, should I pass the bucket or do you look cheap, you know, or like you hand it to them and they're just looking at it like, what am I doing with that? I don't give. Or I also we had a really packed church. And so trying to get people into seats was always frustrating. And then you're always having to ask people to scoot over. Hey, can you scoot over? Got people coming in and stuff. I did not like that. The greeter thing, that's fine. Stand by the door under an awning. Hey, how you doing? Hey, welcome in. Hey, good to see you. Like I could do that.
Now it is a big church, so you would be greeting a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's okay. I could do that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I would enjoy that, I think. If I don't mentally qualify like for security.
What your church needs is like a breakfast serving station where you could be like the bagel creator.
Yeah.
Like make people bagels because you do love doing that here.
Or hand out donuts. I could do that. I would be good at that.
No, you wouldn't, because then you get caught up in conversations with people, and then people would have to grab their own donuts.
Well, that's what greeters do. You're supposed to make people feel welcome. I couldn't work nursery. Oh, for the love. Yeah, there is no way on earth I could do that. There's the sound of a baby crying. We have a spot that we're running on the radio station right now for our world's biggest baby shower, and it starts like I'm like, oh gosh.
I think no offense to whoever made that, it's a very creepy baby.
It's a creepy baby
whine.
But it just sends me PTSD from babies crying, and I do not deal well with it at all.
And you take that on, Betty?
Oh yeah, gladly. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like we were talking with there's a girl that was back there volunteering with me, and she's a mom of 4, and she's younger than me. Oh. But anyways,
wow, 4?
Yeah,
that's a lot of children.
And she was saying, yeah, I feel anxiety if it's someone else's baby that's crying. If it's my own, I just tune it out. I'm like, they'll figure it out on their own. Right. I told her, I said, I've never had any kids of my own, but I'm coming from the opposite side. Like to me, with daycare, doing that for 6 years, anybody's kid, I can tune that out. Sure. I'm fine. Yeah. They'll figure it out. They're fine.
I halfway watch these kids.
Unless you're actively on fire or bleeding, you're fine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Wow.
Yeah, I So maybe I'll volunteer. I don't know.
You should.
I started doing small groups. I mean, that's a big step.
It's not nothing.
But you hate it and complain every week.
Yeah, there is that. We've been on summer. This has been the best time.
Favorite time of year is when it's not happening.
Again, I don't have a problem with the people. Like, the people in our small group are really nice people, you know?
You've just had a busy day, and the last thing you want to do is get out. And I completely
It always
get
feels
that.
like homework for me.
Yes.
After being up since 4 a.m. and we get home and I'm literally like finally like at dinner time, like unwinding. I've stopped working.
Once you're home, you want to be home.
And I'm like, okay, good. And then my wife's like, okay, we got small group. Like, oh, I always forget, you know? And again, to go and discuss things badly like drives me crazy, you know. Like if it was like a really like great conversation, you know, I would probably be more into it, but a lot of times it's a little bit of opinion and lots of awkward silences and people just trying to feeling like they need to fill up the space, which I get.
It's hard to manifest, I think, really good and life-changing conversation.
Right. And I don't want that.
Yeah, I think it's a pastor's job to potentially give a very life-changing sermon on a Sunday because at any point you could have somebody there who doesn't believe and they might be their conversion point. But at small group, like it's a moment where if it happens, it happens. But I don't know. I think sometimes it's better to just have moments of just being together versus being together to discuss the word.
Absolutely.
Which is a great thing, but it's hard to do in a very life-giving way every single week.
Zach, who used to be on the show, they used to do meal group instead of small group. And I loved that. Like they would get together and inevitably you're going to talk about your kids, you're going to talk about life, you're going to talk about faith, you know, and you're going to share perspectives and things you've learned and stuff. So it was part of it, but it wasn't the main focus of it where, okay, so now did everyone read their chapter this week? Everybody good? Any thoughts on this? Crickets. You know? Yeah.
Would you ever consider starting the meal small group of your church that isn't a biblical studies group? Now you have a grill. Bring people over.
Tell
show
them
off
every
a little.
other week.
Yeah. My house is not really great for having people over.
Yeah.
It's not really
because it's your house.
Yes. No, it's not really laid out for that. Like it would get. The couple of the people that hosted in ours, they have really big spaces.
You know what I'm doing right now?
What?
I'm picturing you making your case to God because He's asked you to do this, and I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm like Moses. I'm like, I don't talk well.
You know, my house isn't laid out for.
I live on a cul-de-sac. There's not really good parking. It's just not conducive for this. You know? You know what I'm talking about, right, Lord?
You're picking up what I'm putting down.
But do you remember when I saved that one girl's life by holding the oxygen tank?
Yeah, that was pretty good, right? Can I come in? Not yet? Okay. Let me see what else is there. Rolodex in my mind.
Oh my goodness.
So no, I would host a meal. Like I wouldn't want to do it every week at my house, but I think if we rotated it, I would do that. That'd be fun.
Okay.
And I got to put stairs on my deck first, though. Oh, I still don't have stairs on my deck. I have a ladder that I take out, a step ladder, and put down.
Do you really?
I do, because I had to take part of my stairs apart to do the slab.
Funny part is it's only 5 feet off the ground.
Yeah, I know. But I can make a run. Get this. I can run and jump, and I jump up and I put my hiney on the stairs. Okay, so it's hard to explain it.
You really should video it.
I know. I run like this and I jump and I turn to the side and one cheek catches the edge, and then
what is the other cheek doing?
It stops me against the wall. Yes, they're both doing their job.
There's a lot of clenching.
Yes, absolutely. So they're both doing their work, and then I get myself up on there if I don't have my step ladder, and so because I had to take the stairs out.
Enlightening.
But then so over the weekend I thought, okay, one of the projects I'll look at doing is getting the stairs back on the deck again. And I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was. Stairs are actually kind of tricky to do. And the thing I need, the distance and the rise and the run and everything I need is right in between the stairs that they make for this. And so I'm going to have to build my own. Yes. And so, it was a big deal. And
wow, that is a big deal.
And after the last jump, a part of my cheeks can't take much more of that.
Oh my goodness.
I hit hard.
There's some bruising.
Yeah.
Some swelling.
I get it.
Wasn't really good. So anyway. All right, let's jump into some of the other stuff here. This is a sad story, but has a weird twist in it. There was another mass shooting at a mall in an Indiana food court, and unfortunately 3 people were shot and killed. And you're like, oh my goodness, why again? Why?
Mm-hmm.
What is it feels like it's every other week or so we're having to deal with this, And this one, though, what made this one really interesting is that the shooter was actually shot and killed by a normal person, legally armed. Stop this, because no one could get there fast enough. The cops can't get there fast enough before anything happens, bad. And then you look at Uvalde, which was just a debacle.
And there's been new footage that's been put out. It's just so sad.
If you are the parents in Uvalde, you have every right to be furious with the way that was mishandled. But this one here, this guy, a 22-year-old guy, was carrying a legally concealed firearm, and the Greenwood mayor is calling him a hero, which I was kind of surprised by this, and here's why. And I'm glad he said that. He said the real hero of the day is the lawfully carrying the citizen that was lawfully carrying a firearm in the food court and was able to stop the shooter almost as soon as he began. So, wow. I mean, that's amazing. And still 3 people died, And this guy had a bunch of rounds of ammunition, multiple mags. And so this other guy stopped him, put him down. And I'm surprising because a lot of times when law enforcement or mayors, people like that, speak to this thing, they might give a little bit of praise and then they quickly caveat that with, but we want to call 911 and let the professionals do their job. And there wasn't a lot of that. This guy was like, this guy did it.
Yeah, and he really is a hero. And that's the perfect example of what some people are going to stand on when they say, no, we should have firearms. But then there's going to be the other side of where the bad guy killed 3 innocent people. And it's like, no, this is why we shouldn't have. But what would have happened had that man, and he was 22, he was 22 years old. Like he was a young kid that stood up and did something and took charge. But had he not, how many people could have died?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yes. And so that's the crazy thing. But the debate is always, because Betty and I were talking about this before we even got on the show today. And, she was like, well, I think everybody should have a gun then, and the logic being, if everyone's armed, you don't know who can stop you then. Mm-hmm. But I know the fear on the other side is we turn everything into a OK Corral shootout. And before you know it, untrained or people panicking, not good at this, everyone's shooting everybody, and more innocent people get hurt in the crossfire of people that aren't good at this. But I think we're a long way from that. Like, A, not everybody carries firearms, and B, not everybody's going to be that's carrying is in that food court. In this case, you had one guy that was legally carrying.
He was in the right place at the right time.
And did something about it, I
mean, I guess not really the right place at the right time, but you know what I mean.
Well, no, it was the right place at the right time. He was the right person to be in that place for sure.
With the right intentions.
Exactly, and so it to me, again, the debate on guns, I do understand it. I really do. But this was an example of, and truthfully, I'm kind of surprised that mainstream media is covering it as positively as they are without the caveat about banning guns, because there hasn't been a single bit of that talk, which normally, shooting, ban guns, and like now this time it's like shooting, but guy shot guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, what do we do? We can't ban guns because he just shot the bad guy, and so they surprisingly have been silent on that part of the equation, but I'm kind of glad about that. I always hate when there's been a shooting and, like in this case, the other side that wants to ban guns goes mute, and then I hate it when there's been a shooting and then all of a sudden while families are still grieving, everyone starts debating the politics of it. And people jump in way too soon to push their agenda, whether it's to stop guns or whether it's to be pro-gun. And it always is like, you got to give a minute. You got to give a minute to these families. Let them breathe. Let them grieve. Let them heal. And that debate, we're still going to be talking about this 10 years from now. It's never going away. We're always going to be talking about it. Although I said the same thing about Roe versus Wade, but we're still talking about that. But I that was one I had contended for years. I'm like, I know both sides are working hard to protect their interests, and I just don't ever see that happening. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, did not see that coming. So who knows, man? Maybe one day we will get and make some headway on this shooting. But in the meantime, so thankful that this guy was there and he did what he had to do. And I'm curious, like, because they say that when you take a life, even with the right intentions and the law and everything on your side, that it still messes with people. Like,
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, because I'm just sociopathic enough that I think in my soul it would mess with me. Like, if I was this kid, I think that there is a part of it that would mess with me for a minute, but I would so focus on, look, man, I stopped what could have been a disaster.
Especially if the people that were in the mall, maybe even in the food court, come to you and say thank you.
Yeah.
That would make a huge difference.
Yeah, because, he did the right thing, but I am curious for him, will there be an element of, oh, yeah, I did take a life, even though it was a bad person, I did take a life, and will it mess with them? I'm real curious about that. I'd love to see that as a follow-up story, or when you're doing it in the name of right, like a police sniper, like they make these life and death decisions, and how do they compartmentalize that? Do they train you to compartmentalize that?
Yeah.
So anyway, what do you got, Lady Rock? It's not my fault that the world is horrible.
So I think we can all agree that there are songs we've heard, when we hear the lyrics, we think, did they really just say that? Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So a list was put together of some of the stupidest lyrics we've ever heard. And these are some that made the top 10.
So these are not misheard lyrics, but they're
not
actual
misheard.
dumb lyrics.
They are actually the real lyrics,
Got
and
it.
we think, what? That's really dumb. So the first one, I'm going to play the song for you, and then I'm going to let you tell me what you think is stupid about it. The first one is Elton John's Rocket Man.
Okay.
Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids.
Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids?
Yeah. Because he's a rocket man. He's flying high, oh high. And like, so it's the whole, that one that's not weird to me at all. Like, that one is this guy that's dedicated his life to being an astronaut, up here. And so while it's the dichotomy between your job and your family, and going out to space is not a great place to raise your kids. And so you have to go and do the job.
It'd be better to be a down to earth person when it comes to being the family person.
Yeah. That one never weighed me out, believe it or not. What about you?
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but if you think, a lot of people are looking at it like, well, yeah, duh, Mars isn't a good place to raise your kids. It's not even a good place to raise a human.
Yeah.
I don't know. People.
It's good poetry.
Another one that made the list. I'm going to play it for you. This is U2's Vertigo.
Yes, I love this song. I love that song.
So what do you think is stupid about that?
Uno, dos, tres, catorce. So he goes 1, 2, 3. Instead of 4 would be cuatro. He goes to 14.
Huh. Yeah, he skipped a whole bunch of numbers.
Why did he do that?
I think he's just trying to be funny. Like, I think he's trying to, or trying to make people go, wait a minute. Uno, dos, tres, catorce. Da-na-na-na-na. And
Uno, dos,
catorce
tres.
is 3. Cuatro is 2.
Quattro. Da-na-na-na-na. Maybe he thought catorce sounded better than quattro.
Here's my gut on this. A lot of times bands have like all kind of inside jokes. You know this, Rock, because like Knick Knack is in a band, and I'm sure, and you've been on the road with them, and so they have things that they do to pass the time.
Yeah.
My gut, and I could almost guarantee you, is at some point in time while they're counting off songs and sound check, he's done uno, dos, tres, catorce to kind of make everybody laugh, or just
and then they just keep it
being
in.
mindless, and then you're like, oh, do that for the song.
Yeah,
that'd be
maybe.
my guess.
Either way, for guys to be in their 50s or 60s and they came out with that song, it was amazing.
That was a good song. A lot of people say that U2's The Edge was highly, highly influential on Christian music. And if you listen to a lot of Christian guitar players...
Is that the album where they put it on my iTunes and I didn't ask
that was
for it?
horrible.
That one was bad.
No, but
angry.
early stuff, even off of War and off of Joshua Tree and other albums, his style of how he plays, because it's not like super intricate, but it's super catchy. And they say a lot of Christian artists replicate that in their music.
And then finally, this one is Eminem featuring Rihanna, but it's called Love the Way You Lie.
I don't know this song, I don't think.
But you lied again, now you get to watch her leave out the window. Guess that's why they call it window pane.
Just gonna stand there.
Oh, I like that though. He said lidocaine.
Okay, the line is, now you get to watch her leave out the window. Guess that's why they call it window pane.
Oh, that's so good. How is that not bad?
It's not.
Yes.
Play it again.
That's so good.
But you lidocaine. Now you get to watch her leave out the window. Guess that's why they call it window pane.
Yes. Okay. He mentions lidocaine in there.
It's not
which is-
lidocaine. He says
sure?
lied again. Yeah, I looked it up.
Oh, I thought
Lied
it was
again. So
I thought it was lidocaine.
You lied again, so now you watch her leave.
Okay.
Window
That makes sense. Lidocaine actually would have made sense as well because it's a drug for helping you deal with pain. Like you put lidocaine, like if you're dehydrated and stuff. So
okay.
it's
He
like a
says
salt solution.
Lied again.
That's saline. But lidocaine. Okay, so anyway, that is fantastic. Like you're
not even paying attention to the lyric.
No.
The lyric is terrible.
No, it's not.
Why?
You lied again. Watch her.
Lied again.
Lied again. Watch her walk out through the window.
Watch her leave out
Yeah.
the window.
Okay.
Yes,
'Cause
that's why they call it window
Okay,
pane.
the window pane is a pane of glass.
Yeah,
it's a
but
play on words.
Yeah, but that's dumb.
No.
Window pane.
That's really
Come
good.
on.
Like you're watching somebody
You're
you
just
love
saying
leave.
no. You're just saying that because you like the beat of it.
No, I think it's really poetic.
it's good emotional.
Oh my god, no, I think it's really poetic. It's like you messed up, she's leaving, you're watching her go, you're sad, and so because you're sad, window pane glass.
Yeah, pain and gain.
That's amazing.
I like it.
The how you're using your hands to reinforce your statement. You're like window pane, and then there's glass, and then it comes through.
She's going through it.
Okay, so in talking about lidocaine and things like that, it brought to mind another lyric that I had heard. Tastes like sugar, but it's Novocaine. She's grinding teeth so she can sharpen the pain. Whew. Yeah. Black lips, pale eyes, cyanide, sweet tooth, suicide. She's a killer. My oh my. Cyanide, sweet tooth, suicide. That's a weird line.
Hall and Oates.
No. It's a band called Shinedown. But like that is a weird line. Like that is like the window pane thing totally makes sense. This one you're like, what in the world are you talking about?
But that's not cheesy to me. This whole
Really?
window pane thing
Why
is
is it cheesy?
I saw her walking out the window. Now I guess they call it the window pane.
Come on.
All right. Okay.
Agree to disagree. Want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on to how about some birthdays? Those birthdays.
So we have a little confusion.
Yes.
So I do the birthdays. I try to get all the ones over the weekend so that because we're out, we don't do Aftercast on Saturdays and Sundays. We've got one that came in a little late. It was Haley to her dad, Richard, but yet we got an email from a guy named Richard to his daughter, Haley. So, and the name of the email was birthday request explanation. So while it says explanation in it, both Wally and I are
more confused than ever.
we're not really sure whose birthday it is, nor who we should sing a birthday song to. We just know that we do need to sing the birthday song.
Well, I think I'm putting it together. Like maybe she wished her dad a happy birthday. He wanted to do a big birthday party for her 18th birthday, but COVID kind of messed that up. And so they decided to pick a place, and I think this is sarcasm, close by the Philippines. So they're going to the Philippines to do something. It seems like some travel maybe. And the actual party date now is going to be July 23rd.
Why do we?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll be honest with you, but you know what? Give her the birthday song. We can do that. Happy birthday to you! I made it a little different for her.
Wow.
I added a little high note. Thank you. You're welcome.
We have a question from Sophia. Sophia wants to ask, the zombie apocalypse is coming.
Ooh, exciting.
Who are 3 people you want on your team? 3 people.
I want someone that is legit, like not movie strong, but is literally like a strong human being. Stronger than me.
Stronger than you.
Yeah. Boy, like The Rock is strong, but I think he's soft.
But you might
no.
need that for when you need a little, like when you're crying, you're probably going to cry. You need some empathy, a shoulder to cry
And he's
on.
humorous,
When
too.
I'm going to need a hug and that's not going to crack me.
Right.
Okay, maybe so. And then,
I would go with The Rock.
then you want somebody that is going to be really good at making things. And so like somebody that
I
can,
would get somebody like Clay from Alone. I'm watching Alone on
that's a
Netflix.
good show. Yeah, I love
and
that
he can make anything.
Yeah,
I'd go with him.
Yeah, I do like that. So you need that person that's going to help you make stuff, and then you just need someone that is going to make you laugh because the zombie apocalypse is pretty heavy. So maybe
I don't know. I think
Nate
I'd want
Bargatze.
somebody who could make good food out of nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
like a chef.
Oh yeah, like Gordon Ramsay.
No, his anger would put me to anxiety.
Do you
levels.
want this person to couple as like a hunter though?
Yeah.
Because you probably
Bear
are.
Grylls.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Boom.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah, because he can
For sure.
survive and fashion things for you. Plus,
And
he
he's
can
not
cook.
bad on the eyes.
No, So there you go. That's good. Okay. Poor Mike Rowe just got kicked out.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying he's not bad on
Zombie
the eyes. It
killing's
couldn't
doing a
hurt.
job.
I'm just saying it couldn't hurt.
They're all going to fight over you, for the record.
Who? Bear Grylls,
Bear Grylls, The Rock,
The Rock, and
yeah.
who else?
Mike
was-
Rowe.
Mike
Oh,
Rowe.
Clay.
No, Mike
oh.
Rowe. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, they're all serious with significant others.
No, but they've been eaten in the zombie apocalypse.
oh,
was
they
gonna
have.
say.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's my lucky day.
I know, exactly. Oh, Gavin, did you think anything about this?
I'm literally going to go with my two friends here in town, the cop and the nurse, because the nurse is a former Air
Good
Force
idea.
kid who, or Air Force, like she served.
Yeah.
She said she did survival training and ate one animal's eye.
Oh,
So she's got that like dog in her, like she
Yeah.
could really do well.
Good
and
for
then
her.
the
Oof.
cop's tough. I can hide behind him.
Yeah.
I think I'm faster than him technically,
Yeah.
actually, which is funny.
Really?
I was debating this. I don't think I'd actually want my spouse to be on my zombie survival
Sure.
squad because I wouldn't want to go through the potential pain of loss.
Well, and then you're going to also have to make a decision sometime, like, do you save her and like it to your own detriment? It's better if you're
Yeah.
just on your own.
I
In
would
a zombie
rather-
apocalypse, you want to be alone.
Yeah, I would rather
Absolutely.
be single in the apocalypse
Absolutely.
than married, which feels
I'd
wrong.
rather watch my wife
No.
die
I don't
than
want to
have
see her
drag
die.
her along.
No, I don't
I
want
just
to
want to
see
hear
her.
That's what I
about
heard.
it.
I want to be like, oh no, I don't want to see a single thing. Just,
Yeah.
oh, like that's my somber backstory is that his wife died.
Yeah, there are some things that it's better to be unencumbered, for sure. In a survival situation, absolutely.
Yeah, hearing about it versus like witnessing it would be, way worse.
Like not in the zombie apocalypse realm, but like there's times like where we went one time on a vacation and we were doing ATVs and it was terrifying, Marty, and it made it not fun for me because I love that stuff and I couldn't enjoy it because I was so worried about her. And it's the same thing. Like in a zombie apocalypse, you're going to be worried about that person and you've got to protect them. Like the movie, what is that? Not Silence, where they can't talk.
Quiet Place?
Quiet
Quiet
Place.
Place.
Yes. She's all worried about everyone she has to protect. It's better to be a lone wolf in that scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. No, you're unencumbered. So there you go. I've thought it through.
Another conversation with God. Listen, here's what I'm standing on, okay?
Well, I think that's going to do it for our Aftercast for today, this Monday. Thank you for being a potty.
As always, thank you
So
for
much.
being